in just a second. Something else I learned. I have a 1994 car. And the last couple of times I've driven it, Barking Guy, the check engine light has come on. And it's an OBD1 port, not OBD2. Most cars after 96, 97 all went to OBD2. And they're relatively inexpensive. You can buy them online or local parts stores. You can buy an OBD2 scanner and you can plug it into your car and it'll tell you what the codes are. But OBD1 is not the way. And so in this particular car, I went to Dr. Google, or Google the mechanic, and YouTube the mechanic, and I found with a paper clip, Barking Guy, I was able to plug into the OBD1 connector, the diagnostic port, and get the check engine light flashing in a certain sequence, and it told me what the code was that was on my vehicle. How about that? So if I believe it, if I did it right and I believe it and I didn't blow any fuses, I'm now going to have to buy a part for the vehicle and then figure out how to change out that particular part and hope that I did everything right according to Mr. Google the mechanic. You know, I bet real mechanics hate Google. It's like real doctors, I'm sure, hate YouTube. You know, because how many times now do they deal with patients that come in? I've had this condition now for about a month, and according to YouTube, I think I've got... And they spill out whatever it is that they've got, and the poor doctor's like, well, then what are you here for? If you've already figured out what you got, you know, what do I need this degree hanging on the wall here for? What did I need to go to college and medical school and residency? What did I have to go through all of that for when you could just look it up on YouTube? What do you need me for? And then I would look back at the doctor and I'd go, because I need the drugs. You can't get the prescription without having all of that stuff. So you got to be that kind of doctor. You ever look up ailments and stuff on YouTube, Barking Guy?
No, I haven't.
You rely on experts who are knowledgeable in their field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, well, so far, Google the mechanic has not blown up my little car, and I think I know what I need to order. You know, the big question is, do I get an OEM version of the part that I need? Or do I get the cheap made in China knockoff? And I'm guessing there's probably a significant price difference between the OEM part and the cheap Chinese knockoff. So anyway, part of what I got to do today. Let's see, what Barking Guy's here, and we recapped some stuff from the previous week, and now we want to get into where are we headed to next?
Remember, on July 4th, make it a point to read the Declaration of Independence. I want individuals and families within the sound of my voice to start a new tradition. Read the Declaration of Independence on July 4th.
The Declaration of Independence, not the Constitution, but the Declaration of Independence.
Declaration of Independence. That's what was signed, you know, on July 4th. That's why we celebrate Independence Day, is that document.
Mm-hmm.
We have the fireworks, and we have all the sports, and we have the picnics, and we have this, and we have that. All that doesn't amount to a hill of beans without that document.
That started the process.
Yep. That's why we're an independent country.
But Barking Guy. No, I'm not going to. You're exactly right. I'm going to look up and see the Declaration of Independence, right? Not the decline of Western civilization, which we're living in right now. So I'm going to look and see which one. We have Mac McLean read a version of it. And so I think, didn't we play that last year?
I believe we did.
I think I think what we'll do, we'll make that a part before the fireworks and everything on that night, if there's fireworks. Hope there is. We'll play that. We'll make sure that we play that on that day so that people get to hear that. It takes about 10 minutes.
Yes.
A little over 10 minutes.
Takes about 10 minutes to read.
Yeah, but I think I agree with you. I think it's very important that we do that. So I'm going to bookmark that, make sure I've got that ready to go on that day. Okay.
And Hillsdale College has a pledge that you can fill out.
Okay.
And you can get a copy of the Declaration.
Be good to have.
If you don't have one already,
Mm-hmm.
you can go there and get it.
Be good to have.
You ready for this month?
I'm
of
ready.
Old-Time Radio
Yeah.
history.
Let's do it.
May 23rd, Herbert Marshall was born in 1890. Rosemary Clooney in 1928.
Okay.
May 25th, first broadcast of Suspense's Sorry, Wrong Number aired in 1943.
Okay.
May 26th, Al Jolson was born in 1886. Ben Alexander in 1911. Sam Edwards in 1915. Peggy Lee in 1920.
Peggy Lee. Okay.
May 27th, Vincent Price was born in 1911.
Very popular in the early horror movie genre.
That's right.
But he was also in an episode of Columbo.
And wasn't he the saint?
No, that was Roger Moore. But you mean on radio?
On radio.
I'll look it up while you give the rest of your report.
May 29th, Bob Hope was born in 1903. John F. Kennedy, 35th President of the U.S. 1961 to 63, and president when the last old-time radio show was aired, was born in 1917. May 30th, Mel Blanc was born in 1908. Benny Goodman in 1909. May 31st, Fred Allen was born in 1894. Don Amici was born in 1908. June 1st, Clyde Brooke was born in 1897. Frank Morgan in 1890. June 2nd, CKLW in Windsor, Ontario, Canada goes on the air in 1932.
He was in the third version. There were two prior radio versions before. The first version aired January 1945. Edgar Barrier was the saint and Bromo Seltzer was the sponsor. Then the second was the summer replacement for the Jack Carson show on CBS. It began in June in 1945, and it had a 13-week run, and Brian Ahern was the saint. Campbell Soups was the sponsor. The third version began July 9, 1947, limited to West Coast network of CBS. Ended June 1948. The sponsor was Lever Brothers, and Vincent Price starred in most of the show's episodes in the two versions that followed. So yes, then it went to the Mutual Radio Network. Ford Motor Company was the sponsor. And the final run began in 1950 as a summer replacement for the Phil Harris Alice Faye show back on NBC for this version, which ended in 1951. It lasted longer in this version than any other. Negative review by Billboard magazine, which said much of the script was confusing and slow-paced and called Vincent Price frightfully dull. So there you go. Frightfully dull. Vincent Price played the saint on the radio in a couple of the versions. So you were correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember hearing them.
Okay.
June 3rd, Dragnet premiered in 1949.
Dum, dum,
Dum
dum.
Bum, 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 bum.
The story you're about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the
The
innocent.
innocent. June 5th, the Six-Day War started on this day in 1967.
Egypt, Israel?
Yep,
Okay.
and Syria and Jordan.
Okay.
Why is that connected to radio? Well, in 1967, Israel did not have any television, any television other than educational television.
Okay.
1968 it started. So radio, played a pivotal role in that war. And also June 6th, D-Day happened in 1944.
Yep.
And World War II, there was radio everywhere.
There's a lot of radio traffic that was generated to fool the Germans into what the actual intentions were of the Allies.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And June 7th, Dean Martin was born in 1917. June 8th, Lassie premiered in 1947. June 10th, Judy Garland was born in 1922. And June 12th, President Reagan said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," in 1987.
Yep. Yep. And it happened not long after that.
Yep. Radio quotes of the week.
All right.
You can't teach first graders calculus. They don't get it.
That's true. Who said that?
Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz.
About teaching gender studies and CRT to children in the early elementary grades.
I take it he's opposed to that.
He is.
Okay. We'll see if he wins that race that he's in Pennsylvania.
Yep. Everyone's benefiting but the American people, and that's so wrong.
Clay, Buck, Sean, Mark.
No, it was Yvette Harrell
Oh, well, there you go. She's right.
about drugs and the border.
Yep. Yep. The Chinese, the cartels, everybody's benefiting.
Fentanyl.
Yep. Except us, our people.
That's a romper room no-no.
Linda?
Yep.
Okay.
About littering and trashing Artesia.
Yeah. I sent her a picture of a dumpster. Somebody had taken a twin bed, box springs, and shoved them in a dumpster.
And that's so wrong.
That's a romper room no-no.
No-no.
Yeah. I sent her a picture. I said, here's a nomination for Yard of the Week. All right.
We have the calendar, and
Okay.
lead into the romper room no-nos. We have a fix for that.
Okay.
That's coming up on my calendar. But we'll start with today.
Well, hang on. Let's do this. Let's do the weather forecast.
Yep.
See what kind of weather we're going to have over the next couple of days and if the weather's conducive to the events on the calendar.
Yep.
Sound like a plan?
Sound like a plan.
All right.